if I see enough improvement in you.
But how can I improve if I'm getting worse?
That's unacceptable.
I'm trying to tell you, day by day I am getting worse because of the circumstances, because of the situation. Now you tell me how can until you see an improvement. Each time I get worse.
That's it. Okay. I don't give a shit about him. So be it. Whose fault is that? That's right. That's her fault. And that's completely unacceptable to me.
So obviously it's the treatment that I'm getting, or this situation, or the place, or the patients, or the inmate. Or I do not know which.
And I'm just gonna have to kill her.
I'm interested in starting a new series, where I break down some of the most disturbing films or videos to ever be released to the public. So today I'm going to show you the twisted video diaries of Ricardo Lopez, and one of the most heartbreaking documentaries to ever be made, Titicut Follies. So if you enjoyed this video and you're interested in seeing this series continue, be sure to let me know in the comment section below, and be sure to subscribe and click the bell so you don't miss the next video. Now to avoid wasting any more of your time, let's begin.
Great page, and I too love Bjork, and my name will soon live in infamy.
This is one of the 11 video diaries made by Ricardo Lopez in the mid to late 90s. These 11 videos made by Ricardo capture his final days on the planet, as well as his descent into madness caused by his growing obsession of the Icelandic singer Bjork.
Bjork has been an incredible part of my mind since '93. You know, since I first saw her. I've started with a crush, you know, and ended up with an obsession, which I'm not embarrassed to admit now it's an obsession.
Ricardo was a reclusive individual who spent his final years with no friends outside of his family. He states in his diaries that this is why he became so infatuated with Bjork. At first, this obsession helped him deal with his depression and lack of companionship. This is until he learned something about the singer that changed his love for her into hate.
Something like that, and she never wanted a boyfriend when she was little, you know, all this bullshit. Turns out, I called the hotline number, got in the section where it says personal information, and it said that both of them were a hot item. He talked all about her, how he liked her, and, you know, once he met her, you know, he couldn't, you know. Look, personally, maybe he's a nice guy, maybe he's not a nice guy, maybe he's an opportunist, but he's about. I don't give a shit about him. So be it. Whose fault is that? That's right. That's her fault. And that's completely unacceptable to me.
Ricardo had discovered that the love of his life began dating a black musician who went by the stage name of Goldie. Ricardo took great offense to this interracial relationship. He was heartbroken and felt betrayed. He had an intense hatred for Goldie, and because of this he grew to hate Bjork for dating a man that he did not approve of.
I'm just gonna have to kill her.
This is when he began planning to kill or severely injure her. His original plan was to create a package rigged with needles used by HIV-positive patients to infect her with the virus. He quickly realized that he wouldn't be able to accomplish this, and instead set out to build a letter bomb rigged with sulfuric acid.
Yes, I'm interested in purchasing some hydrochloric acid. Do you guys sell that? What's the smallest container that you have of that? Pint? And how much do they go for?
He would spend a long time designing and testing his bombs inside of his own apartment, using non-lethal substances such as zinc.
This is just a basic idea of what I want to do here. I'm going to draw her head. See it? Okay, it's ready to roll. This is Bjork, and this is what happens to Bjork when she fucks with people. If only it works. Wow.
Once he was confident that his device would go off, he began devising a plan that he was sure would convince Bjork to open his package. He would find the address to her London apartment through an online fan site. He then wrote this letter and sent it to Bjork.
Dear Bjork, hello, my name is Mr. Doris Fletcher. I'm Mr. Amsterdam's new assistant. He is sending you this 13-year-old novel, which is in the process of becoming a major motion picture. A lecturer has signed on to handle the soundtrack under the supervision of Mr. Hans Zimmer. He has expressed his intention of having a collection of truly futuristic yet eclectic songs. By now you can very well imagine what he's going to be asking of you.
He figured that pretending to be from a production company that was offering her a music contract and a possible acting gig would be enough to get her to rush into opening the package once it arrived. He then placed his acid bomb into a copy of the book he pretended to be affiliated with and packaged it up for delivery.
Our last days.
After dropping off the package at the post office, he returned home to complete the final step in his plan. He set up his camera to film his 11th and final video diary. Then on camera, he began shaving his hair and painted his face red and green. He then took a seat in front of a sign that simply read, "The Best of Me," and turned on his favorite Bjork track, titled, "I Remember You." He then filmed his own suicide. 4 days later, after receiving complaints about the smell, the police would enter his apartment and find his remains, as well as all 11 of these tapes. After watching them and realizing what he had done, they immediately contacted the London Postal Service to warn them of the incoming package. Luckily, it was found before being delivered to her residence, where all of her mail was vetted by her management. The police confirmed that the bomb was rigged properly, and would have likely disfigured whichever poor member of Bjork's staff that would have opened it. Bjork would later send flowers to the family of Ricardo, and expressed a great sadness for the entire ordeal. Titicut Follies is the name of a talent show that was put on annually by the staff of the Bridgewater State Hospital for the Criminally Insane. It is also the name of one of the most disturbing documentaries ever made. Originally, the purpose of the film was to simply document the talent show put on by the staff. Using this story, Frederick Wiseman would be given permission to film inside of the facility, with the staff giving him a full tour. But as he filmed the horrible conditions that the inmates had been left in, he decided to secretly change the purpose of the film. During production, Wiseman would shoot over 80,000 feet of film, and in that he would capture enough to shock the world. The inmates at Bridgewater were subjected to numerous forms of abuse. The treatment of one inmate featured in the film by the name of Jim is enough to make you question how humanity ever made it so far in the first place.
I'll come to your room from Jerry, Jim. I'll come out. The goddamn thing isn't dirty enough. What?
It starts with Jim being escorted through the facility in front of everyone and the cameras, while completely nude. As they escort him through the halls, they can be heard laughing at and antagonizing the old man. After parading him through the entire hospital, they set him in a chair and begin preparing his face for a shaving. At this point, Jim is clearly uncomfortable, and is waiting for what he knows will be a very fast and rough shaving of his face. As if this wasn't enough, while pinned in the chair, the guards continue to taunt him, now focusing on why his cell has become so dirty.
That's that room, Jim?
Yes, sir.
But how come you got it all dirty last night?
Hold on, lad. Yes. Hold on, what is that to me now? Wasn't that?
What did you say, Jim?
Little cool eye.
Huh? What? What did you say, Jim?
Then while walking him back to his cell, they push him to his breaking point for their own amusement.
Morning, Jim.
Morning.
How's that room going to be?
Very best of morning.
Huh? What? What'd you say?
I clan.
Hold on, Jim.
Deny.
What?
Deny.
What'd you say? Can't hear you, Jim.
Immediately after this, we see the most heartbreaking moment of the documentary. This is when we realize that the cell they were referring to is a completely barren, filthy concrete room that he is forced to stay in completely naked, like an animal at the zoo. The next major subject of this movie is a man referred to as a paranoid inmate. His feature in the film starts with him begging a doctor to allow him to go back to a normal prison, only to be told that he's not mentally fit enough.
We agree. We're not
That's not the
enforced to
principle,
take
doctor. That's
medication.
not the principle. The principle is that I am here, obviously well and healthy, and I am getting ruined. If we send me back to the prison, where I might be able to get there on the street as I should have.
If I send you back to prison today, you might be able to get back in the same day to Bridgewater.
No, doctor. Not unless...
If you don't believe it, I let my spit on my face, you know.
Now, why
That's
should
not true.
I do that?
Because that if I say untrue, you know, unreliable things, that I should be punished. We send you back to Walpole today, you coming back tomorrow or maybe even tonight. Honest to God.
While it is clear that he has some issues, to me personally it's not clear whether this is a serious mental disability or mostly just a speech impediment. At times it seems like he honestly has a better grasp on the situation at hand than his own doctors do.
Well, Vladimir, as I promised you before, if I see enough improvement in you,
But how can I improve if I'm getting worse? I'm trying to tell you, day by day I am getting worse because of the circumstances, because of the situation. Now you tell me how can until you see an improvement. Each time I get worse. So obviously it's the treatment that I'm getting, or this situation, or the place, or the patient, or the inmate. Well, I do not know which.
He stutters quite often while speaking, but listening to him talk to his doctors about the institution and their treatment makes it clear that he is at least a few steps ahead of most of his fellow inmates. Despite this, he's treated just the same. I believe that he may have been one of the largest reasons that this documentary pulled at the heartstrings of so many, as he seems to react to the terrifying situation the same as any of us would, which helped a lot of people realize how small of a gap there really was between us and some of the inmates locked in these hospitals, because it almost feels like the hospital is what was making him crazy.
Now you're keeping me here a year and a half, and I keep saying the same story. I am
That's
being
what I
harmed.
believe.
Now, after a year and a half of being harmed, you turn around and say, if I should go back to the prison, I will.
toilet?
No, to the prison. To the prison. You say that I might be back tonight or tomorrow. Then obviously you must consider that the surroundings have had something to do with it.
After its initial release, the film was banned from all local festivals, and a Massachusetts state judge deemed that the tape be destroyed due to the possible effect it could have on state-run institutions. Luckily, Frederick Wiseman ignored these demands, and the film was later used by the family of the inmates to sue the hospital. Since then, Bridgewater State Hospital has been permanently closed. If you're interested in exploring more of the darkest corners of the internet, be sure to subscribe and click the bell for notifications. Thanks for watching, and stay safe.